Travis Wayne Goodsell. Kind of disappointed Muppets Now didn't have a 7th episode for today. They still had last week's episode 6 posted. So, if you've been paying attention to the news, maybe you are being kept away from it because you're watching Fox or the Russian-funded AON. But, fulfillment of the Book of Mormon is going on. And so, in the first chapter of the Book of Mormon, it gives us a warning about when to expect the attack on America in the last days. And it does it in a parallelism, I guess it's called, talking about Jerusalem when it was first conquered by Babylon. It says in the first year of the reign of King Zedekiah, and that's who put Zedekiah on the throne of Jerusalem, was Babylon. And you have to go to Jeremiah to find that out. And we know that it's the date for the attack on America. It's because Lehi has a dream in which he sees the sign of the Son of Man. And so in the first year of the reign of King Zedekiah, sign of the Son of Man. So on the 23rd of September 2017 was the sign of the Son of Man, and thus we know who was put on the throne and by which country they were put on the throne of America. And we know the specific weapon used to cause destruction. In Doctrine and Covenants, section 45, verse 31, talks about a sickness, desolating plague or sickness. And so that corresponds with Moses, which is another parallel to the latter days. As Joseph Smith himself says, a Mormon will lead Mormons just as Moses led the children, or the house of Israel. And so the final plague of Egypt was a coronavirus that killed the firstborn of Pharaoh. And so Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon help us, warn us, so that we can be prepared if we hold to the iron rod and do not stray on forbidden paths, listening to false prophets. And so the reason why we need to be concerned is outlined in Mosiah 29. In verse 17, for behold, how much iniquity doth one wicked king cause to be committed, yea, and what great destruction. And down in verse 21, and behold, now I say unto you, you cannot dethrone an iniquitous king, save it be through much contention and the shedding of much blood. For behold, he has his friends in iniquity. That's called compromise by the Russians. Peter Struck came out with his book called Compromised. And I'm surprised nobody thought to reference Michael Cohen, who said that the P-tape is not in Russia, it's in Las Vegas. Apparently Putin got a hold of it. But it's those types of things that you wicked, evil people leverage over others who otherwise would have been good people. Trump's always been bad, so it was easy to get stuff on him. And he probably willingly said, "Oh, can I be the bad guy, please?" And he keepeth his guards about him. So presidents get Secret Service. And he teareth up the laws of those who have reigned in righteousness before him. Well, in America, that's the United States Constitution. And how do you tear up the Constitution? Well, it's by creating acts, even secret acts, such as the southern border, locking up babies in cages separated from their mothers, that go contrary to the Constitution. That's an obvious one there. And you'll notice they also include, he trampleth under his feet the commandments of God. Trump's not a religious person, but back in those ancient days, it was theocracy. They were government and religious leaders. And so we need to understand that this is also referring to the religious organization, the bad Illuminati doctrine of Lucifer religion. And you know which one I'm talking about. Because that certain leader of that certain church has guards about him too. And he had a wonderful birthday on Wednesday. And a wonderful time. Thanked everybody for the well wishes as Utahns suffer. And so a wicked king enacts laws, sending them forth among the people. Yea, laws after the manner of his own wickedness. And so, yeah, news today. They showed a clip from back in the day when he talked to the police forces and talking about how the cops put the head down so they don't bump their head, and he then says, don't put your head down, don't put their head down. And they all laugh. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Woo! We can now do that because our executive told us we can do it. So, laws after the manner of his own wickedness. And whosoever doth not obey his laws, he causeth to be destroyed. He just cleaned house of all who wouldn't do his will in all the government departments. Peter Strzok being one of them, and a new person today, a prosecuting attorney, I think from the Southern District of New York, wasn't it? They refused to obey his laws, and so they resigned, and he then tweets for their destruction and keeps them from getting their pensions and ruins them in society and all that stuff. And whosoever doth rebel, such as Portland, Oregon, against him he will send his armies against them to war. Yep. And if he can, he will destroy them. He's not giving funding to California, Oregon, because they weren't loyal to him. So they're on their own for repairing the damage when they get the fires under control. And then Puerto Rico, he threw in the paper towel. And thus an unrighteous king doth pervert the ways of all righteousness. And thus, what great destruction. So we were warned. We even have another variation in the Book of Mormon about Korihor, who then led to the Order of Nehors, and then Kishkumen, and then called after Gadianton. And they were the means of destroying the Nephites, the entire destruction of the Nephites, because they infiltrated, rose up in power, and then became like Mosiah 29's wicked king examples. And so it's looking too late. Remember Joseph Smith? Remember, he's the founder of our religion, supposedly? He used to talk about Constitution one day being in jeopardy, and that this people, the Mormons, were supposed to rise up to save it. Remember that? Instead, Mormons have been supporting it. Mormons helped put them in. There was that other guy who tried to run, and now, but yeah, many Mormons voted for our puppet king, who's causing great destruction. And the sad thing is that Mormons are so hard-hearted, they're going to be upset with me for making this video. All I'm doing is going over the Book of Mormon warning for our day, specifically our day, our generation. Not some future generation, now. This is it. You know, parents' generation, grandparents' generation were all telling me, oh yeah, we thought it was the end of the world during our time, and never happened, life goes on. It's because the signs weren't back in your day. Wasn't supposed to be the time. And so, yeah. So, Helaman chapter 6. Let's go over that. But behold, Satan did stir up the hearts of the more part of the Nephites, and so much that they did unite with those bands of robbers, Gadianton band, and did enter into their covenants and their oaths, that they would protect and preserve one another in whatsoever difficult circumstances they should be placed. Thank you, Judge Waddups, for betraying your country to protect the church. That they should not suffer for their murders, their plunderings, and their stealings, and their federal judicial violations of law. And it came to pass that they did have their signs, yea, their secret signs, of the Illuminati with the eagle, as I in the video today, on top of the sign of Lucifer, the inverted pentagram, and their secret words, and this that they might distinguish a brother who had entered into the covenant, that whatsoever wickedness his brother should do, he should not be injured by his brother, nor by those who did belong to this band, who had taken this covenant. Mormons don't do that, do they? They don't protect one another from sin and wickedness. They report sin and wickedness of their brother, right? And thus they might murder and plunder and steal and commit whoredoms and all manner of wickedness contrary to the laws of their country, and in this particular case, also the laws of their God. They have an outward appearance of righteousness and worshiping and love of God, but no, they don't believe any of it. They certainly don't live it. And whoso of those who belong to their band should reveal unto the world of their wickedness and their abominations should be tried, not according to the laws of their country, but by Mormons and the federal judge benches. But now behold, it is these secret oaths and covenants, been since the beginning of time. And so here, in entire destruction. So, yeah, it's sad, and Mormons are now laughing. Oh, you're crying. We knew you couldn't build a ship, Travis. If you remember the story of Nephi wanting to build a ship, and Laman and Lemuel are saying, "Oh, we knew you couldn't do it." And then he was doing it, and then all of a sudden they decided to join in. There's no reason to leave. They were in Bountiful. They had the monsoons every year. So, it's the end of the world, the end of wickedness, but it doesn't look like it. Wickedness runs the world. Runs America, runs Utah, runs the church.